CNBC presents Power Lunch with Bill Griffith and Michelle Caruso-Cabrera.
The hedge fund industry has indeed seen considerable growth in the past 10 years. In 1990, there were 300 hedge funds. Today, there are about 7,000. Joining us to talk about what you need to know before you invest in one of these is Mark Brown, certified financial planner and partner at Brown & Tedstrom. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Define a term. What is a hedge fund specifically?
A hedge fund is, by definition, a fund that, or a manager that's trying to make money in all environments and consequently hedge against the general theme of what's happening in the broad markets.
As opposed to a mutual fund, which generally confines itself to just stocks, a hedge fund can invest. I always say it invests in anything that moves, basically.
It really does. I mean, that's the thing about it, is that, and I like that. You can, there are mantras. Let's try to make money in all environments, and let's be creative in doing that.
You can go long, whatever it is. You can go short if need be, whatever. The situation, though, is people need to know about these are highly unregulated investment vehicles.
Unlike the mutual fund industry, which is highly regulated by the SEC, the hedge fund industry is really not, and so they can do pretty much whatever they want to do, and sometimes it's not exactly understandable what they're doing.
Because there are no disclosure rules governing what they can tell or have to tell the public about what they're doing. Right?
They really don't. The disclosure is very skinny, and you just really can't tell. I've talked to some managers, and I've been doing this for 20 years, and I try to understand what they're doing, and I just don't get it.
So who are hedge funds for then, necessarily?
Well, hedge funds are a great diversifier. They're very non-correlative to the broader market. So over the last 3 years, people that have invested in hedge funds have been very happy with 8 to 15% returns and positive returns. So they've been great for that.
For those hedge funds that we know of who've made that kind of money, but since they don't disclose, I'm sure there are plenty. And we often don't hear about the hedge funds that blow up until they give all the money back to investors if they can.
Right, and they have to be pretty large before they blow up, too. I'm sure there's, with 7,000 out there, there's not 7,000 great managers.
You bet. Let's go to the phone, see what people want to ask you, Mark. We've got Anne-Marie in Florida. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am. What's your question?
Yes, my question is, thank you for taking my call. Where can one go to get a comprehensive listing of hedge funds, their phone numbers, their performance, or some indication of their performance?
Yeah, how do you evaluate a fund? First of all, where do you go to get information about which funds are out there? But how do you evaluate a fund if they don't have to disclose their performance?
Well, that's the big problem right now. You can't go to some sort of independent rating agency, because really nobody. It's sort of the dark world of hedge funds. It's been an institutional sort of product. So it's not really. There really isn't a lot of independent advice out there.
So where do I go to find about information about a hedge fund just to get in contact with them?
Well, if you go onto the internet, you can type in hedge funds, and there's a number of different sites that can sort of guide you that way. But be wary.
Google them, as they say.
Yeah.
To Jay in Texas. Hello. Hi, Jay.
Hey, Mark. What's cracking?
Hey.
I'm 25. I just graduated from college recently, or actually back in July, and I'm just beginning to build my investment portfolio. And my CFP that I've been talking to is, suggesting that, since I'm young and, it'd be a good idea to I have the ability to take more risky investments. When should I consider investing in a hedge fund? Thanks a lot.
You bet.
Sure. Well, I think one thing that's important to understand is that when you say hedge fund, it's like saying mutual fund. So it's not like they're all risky or they're all conservative. They run the full gambit. But generally, you want to say that when you can put, say, 5 to 10% of your portfolio into a hedge fund as a diversifier, that's a good idea.
What's the minimum amount of money, assuming that there is a single amount you can identify, that you should have on hand to be able to invest in a hedge fund?
Well,
I
would say that, if you had a $200,000 portfolio and you could put $25,000 in, that would be okay.
So a $5,000 portfolio overall, not ready yet?
Not available. Really, the absolute minimums for a hedge fund are $25,000.
Thanks, Mark. See you later.
Thank you.
Mark Brown, certified financial planner, partner at Brown & Tedstrom, joining us today to answer your questions about hedge funds.